Hi, it's Desiree. I just want to give a trigger warning to those who might not have an easy stomach or can get triggered during the conversations we are going to be talking about this episode. Discussions such as SA and some body dysmorphia, I believe, in either this episode or the next episode. So I just want to give a fair warning to those who could be affected by those topics. But if you're sticking around, we appreciate it and we love you all and thank you for supporting us.
What do you mean when it sounds better for me? It sounds good when you do it.
When I do it, I can, like, does it sound loud to you?
Just move your mic closer.
No, I'm saying, like, when you have it further, like, I can still hear yours clear.
You can still hear mine.
Do you?
You can't hear mine.
I don't know if this the
You
microphone.
can't hear mine.
I can't hear yours. But I feel like I gotta have mine like this.
Wait, go back a little bit.
Like this?
A
You
little
can't hear
closer.
shit. Like this.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But like this, like why doesn't it pick up like?
Cause we got podcast mics. I don't know.
I don't care if it was
We
a
were
frog
like from
cast.
we come from the studio.
Right.
We got a high expectation.
Right. Like, I needed to hear me from all the way back
It's
here.
probably like $1,000 mic right there.
Girl. All right. You ready?
Yes, ma'am. You need some lip gloss? Okay, get some lip gloss. Are we a show? We could be a show. Have an intro.
Yeah.
On wages, prices, and profit. Now, I know there are some people who say that this isn't any business of the President of the United States.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Two Moms, One Mic. I'm Tania.
I'm Desiree.
And today we're just going to be doing a little catching up episode.
A lot of catching up. So much went down in the past 2-3 months.
When was the last time we recorded?
Shit. Last time we recorded was November.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so y'all, what we were doing, like, we were going to a studio and we were recording like multiple episodes in one setting, and like we felt like that wasn't like we couldn't give like authentic, like we couldn't give the content we wanted to.
It was just really rushed because of the amount of time we were under.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately we just decided to get our own equipment, our own camera, all the mics and stuff, and record our own so we can record for hours and hours and hours.
Right, because you guys have been asking for longer episodes, and that's something me and Des been wanting to do from the beginning. But when I say studio time is expensive.
Facts. We wanted to like just ease people into like us, I guess. And I mean, hey, and it kind of worked out because I mean we wanted longer episodes and now they do.
And we had a lot of viral moments, guys.
Period.
That was crazy. That was really crazy. Like,
thank you so much, because I feel like we just got to give kudos to y'all for real. Like, I don't know. We weren't expecting that amount of like, I guess, feedback in that short of time.
Because we knew that we were going to be successful with this podcast, but like, literally like it was just like,
it was like what, within a month?
Yeah,
it was pretty much within a month's time,
or maybe even
2 months.
No,
it was
I feel like it was like that first month, like
it was
our first round of dropping episodes.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was. But we just really appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for responding to us, commenting, sending forwarding videos, also reposting our videos, things
reacting
like that.
To videos, stitching our videos. We really appreciate, like me, like now, like when I was just getting my hair done the other day by Dree, she was like, yeah, I fuck with y'all, what y'all doing, I fuck with y'all podcast. And like that alone, like just seeing
it makes you feel good.
Yeah, like somebody from school or like just somebody I know in general just recognizing like what I'm doing. And like, I don't know, especially like we haven't put out an episode since December?
Yeah, like early December. So like for us to still be relevant in like any realm is crazy. And like we're still like, we haven't posted on our Instagram like that, but we're still growing and gaining like every day. Like our video is about to go viral again. And we haven't even posted anything. Funny. It's funny to me, but it's also like so exciting. It makes you want to like record again, not even just because of like the feedback, I guess, but because it makes the energy fun. Like, oh my god, like we're reaching out to people and people are able to react to our videos and listen to it and just, I don't know, take us in.
It feels good. Like not only for me is it like therapy, but I feel like for others it's like therapy because like it's a place where people like can be very vulnerable. Like you read our comments,
people are spilling the tea, like
spilling hella tea.
Spilling the tea. My mama used to do this, or I was raised like this, blah blah. But like I really like commend people for even like being that bold or vulnerable to just like tell their part
parents?
of the story, but no, their story,
Their story.
or even their parents, because
Yeah,
people are showing their parents our stuff.
Yeah, we had one comment the other day saying that I just showed this to my mom, and you know, I also saw one of the older parent. They were like, I'm trying to change my ways of parenting right now just because of this.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just like so commendable for a person to do that, for one. Like, have another perspective, see it, and then be like, no, I gotta change.
Right.
Like, that takes a lot of work. I think what we were talking about, people kind of look at like younger people and assume, oh, how we treat our kids. As soon as they're a teenager, they're not going to want to act like this or be around us. But it's literally how you raise your kid. Like, they don't want to do that. And then I feel like also when people create or try to create that friendship relationship too late, they get offended when the child is not receptive to that.
Right. You have to, I feel like it all comes with consistency. Oh my, y'all. So I'm sorry. This is on topic, but like a sidebar. Me and Des actually recorded a video with our own camera, not our. Okay, so y'all, we tried when we first was going independent, when we was dropped from the label. We decided that we were gonna record an episode dedicated to like replying to the comments about our video about being friends with your kids.
Yeah.
And like y'all, like some of that was just disgusting, and I feel like being like having that close-knit relationship comes from consistency. It's not really something that you can just pop out and have. Now, I'm not saying that you can't mend, you know what I'm saying, mend the wounds that you gave your child over the years, but you can't expect it to just like flip like a switch. Your relationship's not going to flip like a switch.
And also, I don't know like if it was misconstrued or something, but we have boundaries with our children. Like, I don't know where you guys got from, oh, your children are gonna disrespect you when they're older. I don't know why they would disrespect us when we're respecting them. Boundaries are very prominent, and they need to be prominent in a respecting parent-to-child relationship. You know, you don't just be friends with your child. I feel like people got hung up on the word friend and kind of ran with it, but I mean, I don't disrespect my friends. I really feel like it's how you view friend.
I feel like I do agree, because we said that last time. I do agree. It's all about how you view like what a friend should be or how a friend should act. But I also feel like I really don't like. I know how I feel, but I don't think I can articulate it. But like, it's just like,
I want to be friends with my child. I want to have that open relationship.
It's hard for people to break cycles, and it's hard for people to know the value in things that they've never been exposed to. So for us to say, you know what I'm saying, be friends with your child, from my perspective, I feel like in a way I'm friends with my mother. I have a really comfortable, close relationship with my mother. But for some people, it's not like that. So like, I'm able to have that knowledge because I have it in front of me and I've seen it and I know the value in that. But like, some people are just just so far away from just that mindset, and like, you know what I'm saying, just the generational curses are continuing, and like, it's hard to break, you know what I'm saying, break out of a cycle that's been going on for so long.
I think for me, like with my mom and I mean, we have a close relationship, but like, since we didn't have that friendship, I mean, as a child, I just viewed her as my parent. Right. But I mean, I can go to her, but I think I said this in one episode. My mom's my last resort I go to, you know? Really? Like, that's my last resort. And I like, when I had my child, I wanted a relationship to where she can just, you know, talk to me and I won't judge her, you know? Like, you know, how we were saying a few episodes back, we're just going to go to our little friends and, you know, they don't know nothing either. They're our same age. Right. They have the same type of knowledge as we do.
And maybe the same type of relationship with their parents as us. Like, their parents not telling them no better, so.
Exactly. And I want her to, you know, I just want her to be able to grow by herself and flourish, but always know that her mom's gonna have her back, you know? Like, I might not agree with certain things she'll do or say or whatever, right? But I mean, that's everybody. Right. What difference it is with my child has their own mind, has their own viewpoint, has their own way of life. Actually,
I feel like the only thing, I'm not gonna say the only thing, but like,
the one thing that you can do
Mm-hmm.
is start by giving your child a solid foundation, because like of course we're not going to be there every step of the way. They're not going to feel comfortable with coming to us with every situation, but if you just give them the tools initially to be able to navigate through their own problems or different relationships, I feel like you've done your job, like
You have.
in that department. But like I feel like not every parent's going to be perfect, and
No,
not
of
a lot
course
of people
not.
are as self-aware as self-aware as us, especially like at this age. And you know, people had kids way younger, so like they can't even get to this point because they just been stuck, you know what I'm saying, just stuck in a mindset for so long. So I'm not here to place blame on anyone. I'm just
Mm-mm.
saying that I feel like everyone has the space to grow, and like just because you change doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, it's something bad. Like if
It's
you're
not.
changing for the better, do that shit.
And I don't like. I guess I kind of like was annoyed because I feel like the people who responded to our videos in like a aggressive way,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of have idea about how a parent should be, but they're not understanding that being a parent, there's no roadmap to it.
Right. There's
You know,
no
there's
instruction guide.
No instruction guide. Everyone is so different on how to be a parent. Every child is different. Every family dynamic is different.
Mhm.
You can't box one pair of parents in the same one. Like, you
Right.
know, everyone's gonna be so different. Everyone's gonna interpret things different. Everyone's went through things that are different, that construed their mind to think the way they do.
Right.
So when people are saying, no, your children are gonna disrespect you because you don't hit them or this or that, well, honestly, in my opinion, I don't have to hit my child to get them to listen.
Right. And
I don't have to.
I feel like you know how I grew up
Mm-hmm.
in that situation, but I feel like hitting your child, just from my own experience, it just comes from not being able to release your frustration in a healthy way, and you just take that out just so fast. Like you just take it out on your child because that's like the quickest thing that your brain can come up with. But I feel like if you display certain coping mechanisms in front of your children, then they'll begin to pick up on it, like taking
Adapt
deep
it.
breaths and
Yeah.
all of that. And like you of course have to implement those things, but I know it's, as an adult, it's definitely going to be harder to change how you feel in that realm of like whoopings and whatnot, because you have to learn yourself. And like a lot of people are scared of themselves because
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, I feel like we're taught now, or like since school, to just like put everyone before you and be selfless, and you know, just put everybody before you. So I don't feel like nobody really takes the time to look at themselves and look at their flaws, or even want to accept their flaws to be better.
Yeah, they don't. Or even like just self-reflection in general.
Mhm.
I self-reflect almost every fucking day. Like, I'm looking at myself, how to be better, how I can be a better friend, how to be a person all around.
Right.
Not even just a better friend or mother or whatever, just a better person all around.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I was gonna say, back to the discipline part.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like when I was whooped, that was kind of like the traditional thing, like because my parents are Caribbean, so that was kind of like the go-to punishment, I guess you could say, whoopings. And to me, as a child, that felt like I'm not being heard. Like, why couldn't you just talk to me?
Oh, girl.
Like,
What about this?
uh-huh.
Keep crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Oh my God, I hated that freaking saying.
Bitch, I'm already fucking crying.
I'm crying. Do you want me to cry some more? Like,
what do you, does this make you happy? Like, what
Hey.
is going on here? What do you gain from this?
it shut me right the hell up, though.
Girl.
That's what they gained from that. It shut me the hell up.
But like, I feel like back to that, like
it's just hurtful. Like, I feel like that doesn't add anything but hurt. I mean, to me, that taught me, like, I can't come to you for this. I'm gonna go for other things. Or like, it just didn't want me to put my best self forward.
Mhm.
Honestly, it felt like,
and like you couldn't be as secure with your emotions.
I
Like,
couldn't.
Did you feel like you had to like hide them? And
yes, definitely.
Like just deal with everything internally?
Yes, I feel like I actually feel like both of us are very sensitive people.
Mhm.
Like, we're very aware of our emotions and things like that. And you know, I always get told, well, you're just too sensitive.
Yes.
Like, you keep crying. I'm just like,
To
this is how I
day,
show my emotions.
still get told that. Like,
I do too. And it's just like, well, crying is my go-to release form.
Mhm.
Like, that's how I show my emotions, whether I'm happy, sad, angry, whatever.
Right.
Like, it's gonna show on my face.
Mhm.
And crying, I don't know, it's not like, I don't know, I just cry. Like, I feel my emotions heavily, and my go-to response or my body's response is just to cry.
And crying, like, I feel like everybody associate crying with, like, weakness or just,
like, and it's not.
Being a crybaby, it's like, that literally like, I forgot.
It feels good to cry sometimes.
It literally releases, like, dead cells in, like, the parts of your body where you feel, like, pain. Like, if you cry, and, like, certain parts of your brain, it releases, not dopamine or endorphins, something. And like, it literally, like, you feel better after. That's why you feel better after. Release, it's like a chemical reaction.
I could literally laugh while I cry. That's the thing. Like, I'm so self-aware of how I feel. Even though I'm crying, I'm laughing, making fun of myself.
Have you ever had, like, a breakdown, like, just crying, like, you literally by yourself, and you're like, bro, you're doing this for attention, and just, like, break out of it?
I would be like, you're doing too much. Why are you even crying?
Right, but I'm like, why am I invalidating my feelings?
Because people are validating our feelings, and then we internalize that shit.
Right.
And then we're like, oh, you're doing something bad because society or what the people around us perceive that as bad because they can't handle their own emotions. It's really projection. I
really do agree. And I feel like there's a lot of things that I want to be more conscious about, like, just talking verbally to my son, because I do notice, like, just, oh, you're too sensitive, or you too this, or you're a crybaby, or only girls cry, or some shit like that. Like, I don't ever want him to feel like he has to lessen who he is naturally in order to fit in any group, whether that's with his parents, his friends, you know what I'm saying, anybody. I don't ever want him to have to dumb himself down and lose a part of himself because of how other people feel. It's like, be you to the fullest. And that's what I have to work on, like, being my true authentic self, like, to the core,
so they can see it.
And like, I want to be able to just demonstrate, like, be yourself, and I'm not gonna say don't give a fuck about, because you have to give a certain level of fuck somewhere, but, like, you just
don't give a fuck about relevant people.
Yeah, really. Like, or even me, like, if I'm your mom and you think, oh, I'm not gonna do this because mom's not gonna like it, but if that's some shit you want to do it. Like, I can't tell you what to do with your life, bro. You're gonna do what you want.
Oh my god, that was like me my whole high school life.
Girl.
Oh shit, mom's not gonna like this. I can't do this, or I have to figure out a way to hide it.
Right,
bro. It was so many loopholes I had to go through.
But the thing is, like, growing up, like, I was the same way. High school, like, my mom not gonna let me do this, or my mom. But, like, my mom, like, she, like, after school, she was like, I would have let you do that. Like, I wanted you to do that. Like, I'm like, bro, why? Like, what did she do to me to
I cannot relate to that.
Well, I don't know. I'm like, what did she do to me to make me think that this wasn't, like she wasn't going to put up with this or tolerate it or let me do it? Like, why was I so scared to do
Maybe
shit?
it's because, like, you were kind of in that people-pleasing mode.
Yeah.
And you didn't really want to step outside of that and, like, kind of disappoint. I think my biggest thing was, like, disappointing people I love.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, like, just kept to myself.
That's how I became. I think it was about 10th grade. When I first came to I, like, went into hermit mode. Like,
mine was, like, 9th grade to about 11th grade, hermit mode.
Yeah, mine was 9th through 12th grade. But I came, when we moved here when I was in 12th grade. So I think around that time I started to break out just a little bit and, like, come around my family more and just be Tania again. Like, bring the light to the house.
I think I was, like, 17 when I did that, honestly. I just remember being sad from, like, ages 14 to 16.
It was really when I lost my virginity, which was at 16, which was 10th grade. And I feel like that brought up a lot of unhealed trauma or stuff that I haven't even resonated with, like, or even acknowledged. So I feel like that's what kind of sent me in that mode, and it made me, like, play the it made me play the blame game a little bit and, like, just kind of look at everyone for what they've done to me and not who they are at the moment.
Damn. Oh my god, you just made me have some, like, big realization, because I think I did that. Like, I lost my virginity at 17 and that did bring up a lot of things, a lot of feelings that I didn't process, and I literally had to explain this to baby daddy the other day. That
what was his alias?
D?
No,
I don't know what his whatever his name was.
It was close to the real thing. Damien.
No, it was
Damien.
No, because remember I said that was too close.
Oh,
I think he said GQ.
Oh no, Hugh. Oh, Baby daddy number 2.
Baby daddy number 2.
He
We gonna
was
say-
Q. D and Q. Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. That is so ugly. Okay, so basically I was explaining to him the other day, like, at 17, like, those unhealed wounds opened up, and I've only been processing it since then.
Right.
Like, I just released those emotions now, and I'm 20. I had to acknowledge what happened and, like, kind of sit in those emotions, and why he did explain it didn't make him feel good, of course, because it felt like I was rejecting him in a way.
Right.
But I realized as myself, like, well, one, I don't owe anything. I don't owe anyone anything, even though I know how much I love them. I don't own a person, my body. And I remember fighting with myself at one point, like, why can't you just do it? Like, you're so fucking stupid. Why can't you just do it? Like, it's not a big deal. It's why can't you just do it? But my I guess my child self was just like frozen, I guess. Like, they were terrified. And she was like, bitch, why are you doing this?
Right.
Like, why do you want to do this to yourself? This already happened to you, and you couldn't prevent it.
Right. I feel like for me, like, the first time that I had, like, a true, just, like, regained all of my memories from certain situations was after, not the first time, but, like, when I was freshly having sex, and it was afterwards, and, like, I just felt, like, disgusted with myself, and, like, I was just crying, and, like, this was the first time that I told somebody, like, that even happened to me. And I feel like what triggered me even more after that situation is after I told the person, they, like, changed, not necessarily in a bad way, but I feel like they went into, like, a super overprotective mode to where, like, they're trying to prevent these things from happening to me, or thinking that
It's gonna happen again.
every guy I interact with, it's like something might happen. So, like, it became like a controlling situation. And I feel like after that, like, after I experienced that, I was like, I'm never telling anyone else again. But, like, I don't feel like I should have to hide that part of myself, because I have to be able to explain to my partner why I don't feel comfortable doing certain things, or why I just don't want to be touched at the moment. Like, I have a very hot and cold relationship when it comes to sex. Like, oh, my mom would be watching this.
No,
But
I feel
can
beyond
fuck,
that.
But
Period.
I can fuck, but I'm not gonna say I don't like to, but, like,
I don't
it's
want to
certain
on it, like,
things.
all the time. Like,
Or it's not even, because sometimes I get in those moods where I want to do it all the time, and then sometimes I don't want to be touched.
oh,
at
you're
all.
like that? I'm like that too. I, like, fluctuate. It's like, okay, I can go for, like, 2 weeks straight. And then I'm like, all right, don't touch me for a month.
Yeah, like,
I'm tapped out.
but, like, I appreciate baby daddy number 2 because because, like, he kind of initiated, like, setting boundaries when it came to sex, because me, I was still, like, hyperactive in that realm, because after I did it so many times, like, I was just on it. Like, I felt like a jackrabbit. I just wanted to fucking hump, you know? I just wanted to hump. So when I got with him, it was more like,
Just slow
like,
your energy down.
Yeah, his sex drive was not as high, which is not a bad thing. I really appreciate it. But his sex drive was not as high, and I started to question myself, like, am I not this? Am I not that? Because he doesn't want to have sex with me. But it wasn't that. It was this person values sex and knows the importance and knows, you know what I'm saying, the ins and outs of.
And
you
he
know what I'm
values
saying?
you.
Yeah, and, like, that's what that literally, like, it made me come to a realization, like, maybe it's because he loves me and he cares about me and he values me, and I'm not just a piece of coochie.
No.
And I don't want to be a piece
You're
of
not a piece
coochie.
of coochie. You're like,
That's a big old piece of coochie.
get the fuck out of here.
Like, for real.
I just realized, like, as we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was, like, actually during sex or, like, the initiation of it.
Right.
I think I got re-triggered. Like, I started thinking about it when I got a text message from the person, and it was about saying, I need to talk to your brother. Come to find out, he was scared that he got a 15-year-old pregnant.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
So I'm in my mind, you know, I wasn't even thinking about it by
And
this
how-
point.
If you don't mind, how old was he at
He
that
was
point?
21.
Oh.
Yeah, he was 21. So me thinking this at 17, this just opened a whole big wound, because I kind of just blocked that whole thing out of my memory.
Mm-hmm.
I just blocked it out, and I'm like, I kept trying to justify myself, like, oh, maybe he won't do this to other girls. Maybe, like, I'm just the last one, or maybe because our age gap wasn't that big. Well, maybe he won't do this.
Right.
But then when I found that out, I was like, he's doing these to girls still, and they're younger.
Right.
They're freaking younger. And I was just so irritated. I'm like, are you serious? And then now that came, it was like a lot of guilt. It was like I did something wrong.
Right.
Because then I got hypersexual at a young age, very hypersexual. And it was like, and I think it was like, I don't know how to explain it. My younger self was not at the age to consent to doing those things. And for me, wanting those things was not right with the way my brain should have been. You know what I'm saying? Like,
elaborate a little more. Break that down a little bit for me.
So at 16, you can consent to sexual acts, right?
Right.
At 11, you cannot do that. And even at 11, if you want it, at your cognizant level,
I get it.
you're not old enough to know what that is.
Right.
So I felt guilty for like wanting whatever I wanted. And I think what it came to was just like, oh, well, he's an older guy, da 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 da. Like, he likes me, da da da. He was just using me.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
For me, I think I'm comfortable enough to kind of shed a little light and give a little more insight on my situation, just so, because I feel like this is a safe space, and I don't feel scared. I don't feel ashamed about it. So so let me just tell y'all, give y'all a little background. It's not gonna be too graphic or anything. Trigger warning.
We'll put a warning on the screen.
Okay, so I was in elementary school. I believe I was in like kindergarten, and I was waiting on my sister's friend's porch, who lived directly across the street from us.
For the cry.
Girl, you and me both. Please don't cry. But it was like, it was just like, it's like a fever dream. Like, I remember it, but like it's kind of in and out. But so what happened was, my sister ran across the street to our house to go get God knows what. I really don't know. She's like, I'm gonna be right back. And oh God, am I ready for this? She was like, I'm gonna be right back. And I was like, okay. So I'm just sitting there. Mind you, we see these kids, like, we play with them every day. We go to their house every day because they're across the street from us. So I'm thinking nothing of it. I'm sitting on the porch. It's this dude, the boy whose house it is, and then the friend. And like, I'm just sitting there. I don't really remember like too much in detail, but I remember he was singing this song called Teabag That Hoe. Teabag That Hoe.
Oh my God.
And like, he just like grabbed my face and just, yeah, put it in his private area and just teabag that hoe.
What the fuck?
We laughed to cope. But yeah, and that wasn't my first interaction like that. Like, I had a
Just gave some chills.
who I would see quite often, and would, you know what I'm saying, the Let's Play house. And that, like, at first, like, I don't think I really gained consciousness about what was happening and how, like, wrong it was until I got a little older, and like, I seen after a few years, and I was like, that wasn't right. Like, this doesn't feel right. And it was every time. And then it was another time. I don't think I want to talk about this anymore.
Okay. It's okay if you
But
don't want to
I
talk
just
about
want to, like, I just want people to, like, the people who victim blame, like, it doesn't, like, like, we carry this shit. We carry our wounds.
This goes into our relationships.
Into relationships, parenthood, just anything. Like, this happened, like, these things happened to me when I was kindergarten, preschool, you know what I'm saying, my whole elementary school. Like, these things happen, and this shit is so real, and I was not asking for it. I was not dressing any type of way for it. I was a victim.
You were a child.
I was a child. I was not able to say no because I didn't even know what we were doing. Like, I didn't even know that this was bad. I had
and
no
even
idea.
if you're not a child, I mean, that shit you carry regardless.
Right.
Like, that shit is traumatizing. Oh my God, you gonna make me cry.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, but like I don't know. Like I just feel like
I'm really proud
that's
of you,
one of
though.
my biggest. Thank you.
Of
I'm
course.
like that's one of my biggest things that I'm concerned about when it comes to my kid, because
I feel that.
I'm not always gonna be there to protect them, and I feel like there is an age that's too young to talk about certain things, but there's also like a point where if you don't talk about it soon enough, like they're not gonna know how to navigate these situations. And like I don't even feel comfortable like sending my baby to no one's house. Like, you know, he only goes to my mom's house and his other grandmother's house, and like just, and even that is scary, because I'm not here to point fingers at anybody or say that somebody will do something, but anything could happen. Anything could happen. It doesn't have to be it could be another woman, like a grown ass woman touching him. It could be another little kid. It could be a boy. Like anything can fucking happen.
I feel like not a lot of people talk about that either. When they feel like they hear about sexual assault, it's always heterosexual.
Right.
But that's not always the case. Like, you can be touched by the same sex, and it's not always just boys. Like,
I feel like with my like I feel like that kind of ties into like just identifying as bisexual or liking women or finding them sexually attractive.
does it make you feel guilty?
In a way, I wouldn't really say guilty. It just makes me feel a little more confused. Like, more like, do I like, you know what I'm saying? Do I find these kind of people attractive because of
what happened?
Of that, or just because that's how I naturally am?
Well, I guess since it happened in elementary school, I would kind of think of it as like, well, you weren't aware of that.
But my first time, okay, y'all, I'm sorry. We're getting deep on this. But my first time was, I went to my first sleepover ever, and we had just graduated preschool. We're going to kindergarten. And my friend, she had a birthday party, and she had a whole bunch of cousins over. They were older than us. So we go upstairs in the room, and it's dark as fuck in there. And there's some girls in the closet. I don't know what the fuck they was doing. But they all came out like, everybody get a mom and dad. I'm like, it's only mamas in this motherfucker. What are we doing?
Oh my God. Why would you make me laugh?
I'm trying to laugh to keep from crying.
You
I'm
got
like,
it,
it's
girl.
only mamas in here. What do you mean? And they like, get a partner, bitch. Get somebody to hunch. I said, and they said it just like, get somebody to hunch.
I beg you pardon? Like, what?
So it's like a room full of like girls, and like they're just all laid out on the floor. Like, it was like a fucking, I don't know if I could say this, but a fucking child orgy.
That's really sad. What the fuck?
And I was like that was my most uncomfortable experience, because like this is gonna sound crazy, but like the people from before, I knew them. I was familiar with them. So, of course, it was uncomfortable, but definitely not as uncomfortable as being in a room full of strangers and a little fucking girl that you go to preschool with. I never knew I was walking into that situation. And I really feel like that was like a really traumatizing moment, because I know that was a long ass time ago, but I remember things from before that. But anything after that is like a fucking blur.
I don't remember that.
I don't.
You probably blocked it out.
I don't. I remember like I can see it in my head, like the room, the ambiance, everything. But like, I think I just choose to not remember. Like, I don't really know what happened further, but I just choose not to remember.
Like, your brain, when something traumatic happens, they just
Blocks
kind
it
of
out.
blocks it out.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna remember that bitch, just to protect yourself.
Yeah. Because I would probably be in somebody's nut house right now.
I remember like the first time. I don't actually remember the first time it happened, but I remember like the lead up to how like progressive it got was he was like, okay, let's French kiss, and it's gonna taste like vanilla. Mind you, I'm like 8 years old at this point, maybe 7.5. I think I'm like 7.5, 8 years old at this point. And he was like, let's French kiss. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is nasty. Like, I don't like this.
Right.
Like, ew, this does not taste like French vanilla. You lied to me. I remember saying that.
He is very manipulative. Like, that
Bro.
was, I'm sorry, I know that's a terrible thing, but that was a good, like,
It was a good lie. lie, right?
Good manipulation. A French kiss is gonna taste like vanilla.
Bro, I was so heated. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this not taste like vanilla. I remember every time, like, we would have, like, get together, we would do these acts. Like, it was porno in the basement, and it was on a VCR set. And I remember him, like, oh, yeah, like, I like, watch this all the time. Like, I want to watch it. And, you know, a little part of me was just like, this is weird. And he would tell me, like, you can't tell anyone. I'm like, why can I tell anyone? They're going to get mad at you.
Another thing, I'm sorry to cut you off or interrupt, but another thing I want to implement with my kid is, like, you don't have secrets with adults.
You don't have secrets with anyone who is trying to tell you your people are going to get mad at you. No one's going to get mad at you.
That's not a secret.
It's not a secret, because he was about, I think he was 12. Well, is that 4 years?
Yeah, that's 4 years.
Yeah. So he was about 12. And I'm just like, well, in my head, I'm like, okay, what if he was being sexually abused? I remember trying to justify it in my head.
Right.
But, I mean, at 21, bitch, you're a child predator. But then I remember him coming over into my house, and we were in the basement. And my mom and I talked about this a little bit, but I was like, I think what I would have done different was just, I would never have that age gap. Never. Not alone, at least. Because we would just go off and alone. You know, of course, my parents and brothers are not thinking anything of it, because it's a child.
Right.
You know, they're not thinking that they're going to be the age of doing that. So we go down to the basement. I'm sitting on a chair. I remember doing that. And I remember he pulled my pants down. Sorry, this is going to get a little graphic, guys. So just a little trigger warning. I pulled my pants down, and he stuck a finger in. And I just remember screaming. I just went like that. I just screamed. And then he quickly covered my mouth, and then was like, I'm sorry. He just kept apologizing. And then I was like, it's okay. Like, as in, like, you didn't mean to hurt me. But he very much intended so, because he kept asking, can I put it in? And I'm giving kudos to my younger self, because I had enough balls to fucking say no.
Good job.
Oh my God.
Please don't cry. Please don't cry.
I had enough balls to say no, or at least enough some sense, because my mom's talked about stuff like this. You know, if something doesn't feel comfortable, say no. So I'm happy I said no, because I'm imagining if I didn't, he would have definitely went further. And he did go further with me, like, within, like, you know, the oral part. And that was very traumatizing. Very traumatizing.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember being at, like, 11 or something, when he's probably, like, middle school or beginning of high school. Probably high school. He was in high school. And at this point, he had a girlfriend, I believe, at this point. But he would still do stuff with me. And in my head, I'm, like, justifying it. Oh, he still likes me. Am I your girlfriend? Da 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 da. And he would be like, no, we just do stuff together.
He would tell you this, like,
and I would feel rejected when I would want to perform this sexual act. Mind you, this has been happening since I was 8 years old. I'm 11 now.
So you're accustomed to it.
I'm accustomed to the abuse, basically.
Stockholm syndrome.
So it's like, I want to perform now for you to like me, for you to want more from me.
And to feel validated.
Yes, to feel validated, to feel wanted. And I remember when I got older and just processing those emotions, I just felt immense guilt. I felt stupid. I felt guilty for enjoying it, liking it. I was introduced to porn at a very early age, and I was really showing signs of sexual abuse, but no one, like, it was obvious enough for people to see it and it happened, but they never questioned anything sexual was happening. And I think that's the big thing too. You need to recognize the signs of sexual abuse in children.
Or I'm not gonna say necessarily you have to recognize the signs, but
you have to educate yourself. Yeah. I mean, you have to educate. You don't have to. No, not everyone is always gonna recognize those signs, but you have to, like, what I would do. I would pee on myself on purpose. Like, I just felt dirty. I felt dirty. So I was like, I'm going to make myself dirty. And I got punished for it.
See, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I can only speak for me because I know what I've been through, and I know what can happen because I've seen a good fair share of things. So the things that has happened to me in my childhood, whether it was physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever the case is, I've always told myself, when you have a kid, there are conversations that need to be had, because as a kid, I'm not here to blame anyone, because my mom probably never told her this, and her mom's mom never probably told her this. So I'm not playing the blame game. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying, as someone who was a child, someone who witnessed these things and went through these things, I feel like it is very important to have these conversations with your children. Let them know, like, you don't have secrets with nobody. You shouldn't have secrets with a kid. Nobody should have secrets with a fucking kid unless it's some
a birthday party,
he type shit.
Oh,
you know,
God.
no, you don't keep secrets. You don't go off to places. You don't let people touch you. You let them know that you feel uncomfortable. And I feel like the anatomy part,
very important.
It's very important to teach your kids their body parts, because you give them these nicknames like Pocketbook and Cookie. Oh, Uncle Tom touched my cookie. Oh, it's okay, you can have some.
Or ate my cookie.
Oh, there's more cookies. Oh, he touched my pocketbook. You don't even have any money in there. There's nothing Uncle John wants in there.
I'm so irritated by just that statement.
But you cannot. I've learned that you cannot blame ignorant people. Like, if you haven't had anyone, or if you haven't been through these situations, or like
you just
acknowledge
you don't think it will happen. Like, it's just not in your brain. Like, oh, someone's gonna touch my child. Because I mean, my family and I were a very strict family. You know, like, we had certain ideals, certain people. My parents had to know the parents' person's parents.
It wasn't
when I was sleepover.
Outsider, wasn't necessarily.
No, it was a
family member.
It was a childhood friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was. I don't want to get too much detail. I'm just gonna say childhood friend. So, wasn't my like it was. Yeah, I'm gonna just say family friend. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm just say family friend.
I know who it was.
It was very just triggering, processing those emotions. And I think the biggest thing, like what my mom and I talked about, she felt guilty, but I didn't want her feeling guilty, because it's like she wasn't gonna know any better.
Right.
Like, she only knew what the tools she had before, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming anyone, actually. Like, it's just, it happened, but the way I process it is just, okay, well, now I can teach my daughter this,
right,
or now I can teach my future kids this. Like, it's just a learning thing for me, even though sadly it happened. I'm able to learn from it, and in a way it's fucked up to say this, but I'm like, maybe that had to happen to me, because what if I repeated it with my daughter?
I feel like it's pretty taboo to speak up about sexual assault, or any type of assault really, or abuse in colored families. Colored, what the fuck? You know what I mean, like people of color, like Black, Caribbean, all of that. Like, I feel like it's very taboo to bring up shit like that. And I feel like our family members, our older family members, our elders have probably went through, well, I know that they've went through the same thing, but I also feel like it was like on a hush type of thing. Like,
it definitely was.
Especially the era that they came from, the time that they came from. I don't want to say it was acceptable, but I feel like you weren't gonna get prosecuted for it, in a way. Not prosecuted like in jail.
You weren't gonna get any type of justice.
Yeah, there's not gonna be.
It was like just no point in bringing it up.
And if you did tell, like, most people probably blame you, or just like, oh, he wouldn't do that, or, you know what I'm saying, oh, you was acting,
or you're
for
lying.
It. Yeah, or you lying, like, he wouldn't do that. Like, I feel like that's like the biggest fucking slap in your face, because I felt like I began to know that it was wrong, but I think I started to like it or enjoy it. So, like, it wasn't really like, oh, I gotta tell, because now if I tell, I'm gonna get in trouble. But then, like, the other situation, I didn't even know, like, I knew it was uncomfortable, but I didn't know it was bad. I didn't know, like, oh, you should tell somebody. And, like, I genuinely feel like when it happened, both times when I was younger, or all times, like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know it was wrong, or, like, after it happened, I just blanked out. Like, it literally, like, left my memory. So I don't even think I thought to tell because I didn't know what happened.
Bro, I feel like what's so telling is just like, this boy had the audacity to ask me, oh, when do you want to get pregnant? And I was 8 years old. And my response was, of course, as an 8-year-old, I'm like, oh, 15, because I liked babies.
Right.
I was in that energy of like, I think my cousin was just born around that time, actually. So I had a little cousin. I'm like, oh, he's fun to play with, da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, 15, and he's just like, okay, so then so then when you want to be 15, you know, we'll have a baby.
And
like,
he's completely conscious. I'm not gonna say completely conscious, but he's conscious, and he has to know. He knows a lot more than you to know, like, that he can get you pregnant, like how to get pregnant,
and you know, at that age, I'm not thinking of that. I'm like, oh, how the fuck do you even get a baby? Right. First of all,
do you kiss?
At 8 years old, I'm not learning about the bees and the birds. Right. You know, I didn't learn about that until about 11? No, actually 10 probably. I think it was about 10, because then my mom started talking about periods and stuff. So I didn't even know about that at 8. I'm like, oh, a baby just pops up, basically. You know, I'm not really thinking much about it, of how the act is.
Right.
But when I got older and aware of it, I'm like, that was fucked up to say. Like, are you serious? Like, that's fucked up.
And even, wow, like, I feel like pedophilia is just so deeply rooted in our society, because I remember, like, I would get hit on a lot more when I was younger.
By older people?
Yeah,
yes.
When I was younger, but now that I'm 21, I'm legal, all of that, like,
I'm
not gonna say it stopped, but like, it definitely doesn't happen as
slow
much.
Down.
I feel like I still look pretty young, but like, I feel like I've always had like a baby face, so I feel like I feel very uncomfortable at the thought of that.
I feel like at 16 and 17, that was when I got the most attention, and that's very alarming.
For me, it was maybe like 15, 14.
That's alarming. What
that
the
early,
fuck?
That early. And it probably stopped when I was like 18.
What I get so irritated about too is just like, you know how some girls develop early, and they think it's like girls' fault for getting hit on.
Right.
No, the fuck.
Like, I don't like that. And like, they call, cause like me, like, I feel like I've always had like nice hips and a little shape like that. So like, growing up, they're like, oh, she gonna be a problem, you gotta watch out for her. I'm like, nigga, why are you watching out for me now?
Ew, I hate when people say that about babies. You ever see an adorable baby and they're like,
oh, she's gonna be a problem,
or he's gonna do this and that when he's older.
He's gonna be a player.
Why are y'all looking at a child in a sexual way?
And why are you projecting that shit onto my child?
Ew, that just,
and like, I feel like that goes over
gross.
A lot of people's head. Ooh, bitch, you know what just grinds my gears? You know what grinds my gears? When, like, I say, like, you, for instance, not, this is an example, not, Des doesn't do this, but like, say you see Junie, oh, where my little boyfriend at? Where my little boyfriend at?
See, okay,
girl, boo.
See, I don't know. Wait, we don't really do that in our family. Maybe, I think if we did, it's more like, I don't know. We don't really do that in our family. I feel like that's really weird.
That's very weird.
That's fucking weird.
Like, I've witnessed like the parents, friends saying that.
I would say like my family does is just like, oh, you're flirting with me, but it's not in that way. It's like, oh, you're being very sweet.
Oh, so like for Hugh's family, or for baby number two's, damn. Not baby number 2.
Baby daddy.
Baby daddy number 2. His family like always like comments on my body, and like, it's not necessarily in a negative way. I think just like from my past things, like, it just comes off rude. Like, oh, you fine. Or his mama was like, girl, you got a BBL body. I was like, girl, what the fuck? Like, I knew like they all mean well. And, like, they just saying like, bitch, you look good. But like, from my experiences and whatnot, it kind of taints the ability to take a compliment, especially about my body, because like, I don't want you looking at my body, first of all, because like, his aunt be like, I want the body like you, I'm like, no, don't talk about it, don't look at me, because now I feel like you're watching me, like, and you're looking at me.
It's just your body,
right?
That probably came from when you were 14 to 15.
Like, I don't like that.
It's probably where that came from.
But I've been like thick all my life.
Yeah, but
So
like you were sexualized very early, so you're probably like, what the fuck? Like
that's
don't
why I
look
was
at
just
me.
like, I feel like that goes hand in hand with like, damn, do I want to get this vulnerable? I'm gonna get this vulnerable. Goes hand in hand with like body dysmorphia.
Mhm.
Cause like some days like I'm, oh, I look good, I'm snazzy. Other days like I'm so fucking fat, my ass is this, and I look like this. But like deep down inside, I feel like, bitch, you're fine as fuck. Like you don't have nothing to worry about. But like it's just like being over sexualized so young. I feel like I'm under so much pressure to be perfect in something that I'm not, or what people perceive me to be, and I don't always perceive myself the same that others do.
Mhm.
So I feel like that kind of fuck with my self-image, especially like just growing up. I'm not boasting, y'all, but just growing up, like we walk around the supermarket just out, oh, she's so pretty, look at her hair, look at her, like, and then like eventually, like, I don't know why, I don't, tell me if this makes sense, but like I was just like, bro, everybody's just telling me I'm pretty because like I might be just actually ugly or something.
Oh.
Like they might just be
Oh, no.
trying to make me feel better. And like I'm not gonna lie, like that really, like, I know this sounds so stupid, but like it started to affect how I looked at myself. Cause like, what is everybody seeing that I'm not? And I'm like, but I had to realize, like, you see yourself every day.
Mhm.
And motherfuckers don't come across a bad bitch like this every day.
Period.
Especially, you know what I'm saying? So like I kind of like, I'm okay with in that area, but like I'm still working towards getting more comfortable with just my self-image, just because I've had people comment on it for so long. It's not necessarily negative, but just like there's just too many opinions, and I haven't really got to form my own.
I'm like on the opposite side. So
Mhm.
like I've been skinny all my life, and the most I weighed was when I was pregnant, and I was under 140. So that was the most much I weighed, and I think I gained all my weight from birth control actually. But I remember just being told I'm skinny all my life. Oh, you have no shape. You have a flat ass. I'm like, first of all, I got something there, okay?
Like, wait till I
It's-
take these drawers off.
First of all, yeah, literally. Like, look, skinny girls be hiding some ass under pants, okay? It look good in underwear. Hey, it look good off too. So don't judge. Don't judge for what you can't see.
Right.
But anyway, I remember just hearing stuff about that, and like younger, it was really about my hair. And I think when I cut my hair, I felt so fucking empowered, because I'm like, well, bitch, now you can't comment on my hair.
And
It's not about my hair now. Like, I have a fucking personality. Like,
Right.
I'm a person. Like, what the fuck?
I'm
Like,
so glad that we can like relate in that area,
ugh, it's
because
so
like
annoying.
I've had like this, like I kind of like put my value in my
hair. Yes.
And it's like, cause that's the only, oh, your hair is so nice,
Your hair's
you
so
got
pretty.
good hair. I'm like,
Yes.
what
What
the
is
fuck
good
is good hair? Like,
literally
bitch, if you don't know how to do your shit, just say that. It's maybe easier to maintain, and that's not even true, cause I don't want this shit.
Like, my arms be hurting like
Girl.
fuck. Okay, you don't want this struggle.
I cut
Okay.
when I cut my hair off, that was literally it, because I feel like my beauty was tied into that. Cause somebody, bitch, this is gonna be funny, but somebody, damn, I forgot. Damn, basically somebody made this exposed page back in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and they posted me on there. They was like, you look like a chipmunk or some shit, something. That bitch called me something with good hair. And I was like, hold on, bitch, am I just ugly with good hair? And like that kind of
That's
stuck
fucked
with me.
up.
That stuck with me in a way, but like I knew I was a bad bitch. I knew I'm not ugly, but like
Mhm.
just that hair, like just the hair being brought up constantly. I was like, I'm cutting this shit off. And when I cut it off, I never felt so good.
I couldn't cut it off. I couldn't cut it off fully until I was out of high school, because
Yeah, me too.
my dad had a weird thing about, no, you need to have long hair.
Mm.
I thought that shit was so weird. It still is. But I remember being in about 9th grade. I cut my hair. Luckily, I was able to cut it because of swimming.
Mhm.
That was my excuse. I had, like, for reference, my hair was down to almost at my ass, okay? I'm pretty sure yours was too. So we had pretty much long hair, and people always comment about it, and honestly, this shit was so annoying. And when
Girl.
I finally cut my hair, it was just so relieving, so freaking relieving. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can feel my
It
scalp.
felt so good. And like
so
I've
good.
never felt that empowered.
No,
in my
I felt,
entire life.
dude, when I cut my hair and I went blonde, I felt like the baddest bitch ever. Like, you couldn't tell me
Girl.
nothing. Even though it lasted like 2 months, because that bitch grew out quickly.
Girl, what? I wanted to keep it maintained, but I was like, I'm just grow it out.
Yeah, I
But
just
now
gave
I'm
up.
at the point where I want to cut it again.
I want to grow it out some more. I think I'm gonna wait for it to. I'm sorry, my train of thought just went somewhere else. I think I'm gonna grow it out some more until like it's down to my back again,
Mm-hmm.
and then dye it, and then I'll cut it. Cause I want long hair again. I kind of miss it.
Mhm.
I feel like now that I kind of know myself more, I won't really feel like I'm myself because of my hair.
Right.
So it's just like, oh, I'm myself with some long ass hair. Like,
In
bitch,
my
I'm
long ass
beautiful.
hair, like, yeah, I feel like our hair, like, in a way, it's like a flex.
It's a
but like, I
safety.
also felt guilty about it
It's
as well.
I feel like mine was like a safety net,
Mm.
like for people to even be friends with me. You know, and I was just the go-to.
That's
how to
what
make
I
friends.
was, the friend with the good hair.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
that's
the
what
friend with the
parents
hair.
would call me, like, oh, she got good hair. Girl, give me some. Girl, you know what I used to hate? Give
The
me
bun-
some.
Or give me the bundles, or you gonna make a wig for me.
Right.
Like, girl, bye.
Bitch, how?
She like, oh my God, did you get used to get this comment? You can make 3 wigs with all that hair. Give me
Girl.
some, and you could still have some left for you.
Girl,
Like,
just give me a
what?
ponytail.
Like, girl, get out my face.
Bitch, go grow your own damn hair. But no, like, I'm so glad that we could relate on that because, like,
Go
I
get
think
some Infragrow.
for this bitch. Oh my God, I'm glad we could relate because, like, I feel like when I have that conversation, it may come off as like being
Conceited?
vain,
Yeah.
and it's like no,
No.
like I feel like I don't know. I wish I was ugly sometimes because I feel like ugly people got it better, but like I feel like they feel the
def don't.
same. But like it's so like when you're attractive, and this is no way shitting on unattractive people. We all are beautiful in our own ways, but to me, attractive. I feel like they have it easier because like nobody's really watching you. Like you're just ugly, so like it's nothing. Like you don't have to really do anything. But like when you look good, like I feel like it's more pressure to look good. You know?
That I could see, I guess, both sides because I mean, when I was growing up, I was called ugly. I know I'm not ugly. No, it'll be. I don't want to sound like a bitch, but it would be like ugly people commenting that I'm ugly, and you know that would make me feel really like shit. But as I got older, I was just like, oh, you're just
Right?
mad.
Because I've never like
You're just
got
projecting.
no pretty person or somebody.
Yeah, no one
who
pretty person
face
to
I
say
could
that.
actually see would tell me that I'm ugly. It would just be from niggas hiding and on the like pages or just like some butt fucking ugly motherfucker.
No, you're right. Cause now I'm thinking about it. Like I had a lot of pretty friends. Like I had a lot of pretty friends. So, and you know they will tell me I'm pretty. And I'm like, damn, am I really pretty? Like I feel ugly because other people are telling me I'm ugly, but I
Right.
know I'm not. Like I'm beautiful. Like, bitch, I'm beautiful. Okay. And those insecurities kind of followed with me, and I feel like my hair was like a security blanket.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, people just want to be friends with me because of my hair. Like, they don't really want to be my friend. But when I cut my hair shorter, I still made friends just
Right.
from the way it acted. So I was just like, bitch, I'm not ugly then. Like, what was
Or
that?
even if we did present as ugly, you know what I'm saying, physically, I feel like we're both two beautiful people
I
on
can
the inside.
I feel like ugly and prettier is pretty perceptive too. Like, you can be, I know I'm ugly to someone,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not ugly overall. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like you're not a bitch, you're not an asshole. Like you're a genuine person.
And to me, when a person is ugly, I don't really pay attention to like physical features.
Right.
I pay attention to like the way you act. Like you're ugly if you're a bitch.
Right.
I'm gonna be so for real. You're ugly if you're a bitch. Like
Because
I
you could
don't
be
wanna
the
be around you.
prettiest, like
I know. I heard that feedback.
the prettiest, you could be the prettiest person physically, but like, yeah, I feel like, or you could be the ugliest person. Like for me,
It's really confidence on how you carry
right? Because
yourself.
I used to date a lot of ugly I gave chances to. They played me
Oh yeah, definitely.
and cheated on me. I'm like, bro, I made
I made you, bitch.
you my son.
No, I remember one dude, like 9th grade, they cheated on me with one of my friends. And honestly, I wasn't really too pressed about it. I was pressed because of the fact that he cheated and couldn't just break up with me like a normal person.
Right.
But I wasn't pressed about the relationship because I was liking girls at that point.
Hey guys, it's Desiree. Unfortunately, there won't be a mic drop this episode. This is part 1 and part 2 will be uploaded next week. Tania and I had so much fun with our new equipment. Let us know if you hear a difference and if it's the same, better, or worse. We both got really vulnerable, but that's what we do here at Two Moms, One Mic. We get deep and personal. I promise next week will be lighter. Support us whether that's subscribing, reposting, liking, or commenting. Check out our social media too to keep up with us and submit your submissions in the link of our bio at Two Moms, One Mic. That is the number 2, moms, number 1, mic. We love you all and we'll see you next time. Here's a sneak peek of our next upcoming video.
If you don't know, in high school, I had a little experimental phase. So like ninth through 10th grade, I just explicitly started dating girls and I went masculine. So I dressed, I sagged my pants, wore boy underwear, and just, I'm just gonna say that.
But I don't know where it took a turn. But we was talking, and it came to a point where I was talking to her and this boy, and like I basically was like, okay, like y'all battle it out for me.
I'm battling it out for you.
And I tell you, okay, so this was
You were
pretty
that
messy.
bitch in 7th grade?
I was that bitch
In 7th
in
grade?
middle school.
Period.
I was that bitch.
On wages, prices, and profit. Now, I know there are some people who say that this isn't any business of the President of the United States.